Hi, everyone. It's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer. And today we're talking about magic. And that is not the magic that we may go and see a magician perform. This is the kind of magic that happens when you're able to let go of your doubt. And I know for my own personal journey, when I first began this, I was always looking for the magic pill, the magic feather, someone that could tell me this big secret about how I could turn my life around. I didn't want to hear things like, you need to change your thoughts and you need to be more disciplined and really focus on your meditation time and make your spiritual life a priority. I just wanted them to tell me, well, if you just say these magic words, you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to clean up your act. These 3 magic words or this magic feather is all you'll ever need. Now, luckily, that doesn't exist because what we learn when we actually commit to having to change our thoughts from the false belief systems that we may have grown up with or absorbed without question, or the misperceptions that we've picked up along the way. When we have to confront them, when we are forced to go into the heart and do the work, we gain so much. When I was out looking for a magic pill, I wanted a prescription to do it for me, to take it all away and to make it all better. But because that doesn't exist, I had to do my own work. And it has made me so much stronger, so much wiser, and I feel so much safer because I never have to worry that I'll lose everything if I can't get a hold of a magic pill one day. I know now everything comes from within me, from within you. No one got here into this human form without everything they need to reconnect fully with God and to understand that divine connection and to grow from the inside out. So absolutely everyone has the ability to have an absolutely magical life. So let's take a look at what my guides share with us about the magic is in the believing. What is it that's going to need to happen in your life before you'll be able to say, I really feel safe and secure, wise, and where I need to be. Still growing, but I am feeling so much progress. I'm feeling so much optimism. That's what I want for each one of you on this call today, to be able to say, I feel great. So let's find out how we get there. They begin. Dear ones, whenever you enter a period of reconstruction or transformation, there must first be a period of destruction, then the settling as the dust clears, and the eventual cleanup, and finally the transformational work can begin, expressing itself. The period of destruction feels like chaos. I know when I had to go from, well, this is the way it's always been in my life, to, gee, I'm now questioning all this and none of it feels like any of it could be true. I spent a very long time feeling chaotic, feeling confused, feeling unmoored, It feels as though you've lost your mind, your way, and perhaps your life. It feels as though everything you've believed in is imploding, and you would be right. Before you can restructure your belief systems with divine truth, you must dismantle all of the false belief systems you've allowed to be put in their place. There's only so much space allotted to the "this is what I believe, these beliefs will determine how I live my life" category. We are unlimited beings, but there's only so much room for our beliefs. And so we must constantly go back and keep reviewing. Does this feel like truth now that I've matured? Now that I know more than I knew then? Does this still feel truthful to me? If you are saying things to yourself like, God is love, and love is the most powerful energy in the universe, and God is within me, then that is a universal truth that will continue to be true no matter how much you mature. And as you mature spiritually, that will become something that you will know and not even need to question. But remember, Jesus told us that you cannot put new wine in an old wineskin. The fresh new beliefs you're uncovering, the truth that feels good to your heart center, is often in direct conflict with your old beliefs. I know for myself, when I really started to look at what I believed instead of just spouting what I had been taught, it was really a big problem. The two did not go well together. So you've arrived at a crossroads, and now you must choose. Do you cling to the beliefs that you absorbed without question? Those beliefs that were taught to you by the caretakers you had chosen for this journey? Or do you begin again? Now remember, you've already chosen for parents and family members and close relatives the people that you feel will help you go furthest on your journey. Notice I did not say the people that will make you have the happiest journey. Some of the journeys I have heard of are quite painful. However, even if you experience pain, hurt, abuse, neglect, it does not mean you made a bad choice in your parents or your family situation. You simply chose the experience that would help you gain the most for the physical journey you had chosen this time. If you are wanting to learn more about what it's like to be loved, and you feel you would learn best by not receiving love, you are not going to choose unconditionally loving parents. It completely screws up your whole reason for your journey. So you're not making bad choices when you may choose a difficult family situation. You're making the choice that helps you gain the most. So back to this, your caretakers had a set of beliefs. Do you let go of the beliefs that now appear shop-worn and tarnished, in need of polishing? Or do you hang on tight as you scrub away at the scruffy spots, hoping they'll shine brightly once again? Well, here's the interesting thing. You may find yourself doing both. When you first start out on the journey, you may take those beliefs that you feel have served you well and try to shine them up because you're new to the journey. You don't have a whole lot of understanding separate from this. That's okay. Use that understanding or those beliefs as a stepping stone. And as you progress and you gain more knowledge, then you may find they're no longer serving you. Because there's no right answer. No one can tell you what you should or should not believe. That is between you and the God that rests within you. And everyone has that God connection. Your beliefs should be personal to you and feel good to you. They may be in line with universal truth. They don't have to be. They are your beliefs. Now, you must remember, your beliefs choose what you receive. So you do want to be careful about what you are believing and thinking. So there's no right answer. There's the answer for you, your neighbor, coworker, friend, or family member, but there's no one right answer. That's why so often you will run up against people who have completely different belief systems than you do. Because each one of you are on a unique journey exploring an aspect of the physical that feels meaningful to you. Your free will states that you may believe a lie. That belief won't free you from the consequences, but you will not be prevented from holding whatever thought feels best to you. Your thinking, however, cannot change universal law. Just because you want it to be so will not make it a divine truth. It will, however, be true for you, and that's the magic of the physical journey. No one will stop you from believing anything you desire, because each journey is an experiment in thought. If I hold this belief or this thought and do this thing, what happens? That's what the physical journey is all about. What happens? Over and over throughout the lifetimes, you expand and refine your belief systems as you grow closer to the divine truth you knew in your energetic state. So many of you reach for something outside of yourself that will be greater than you are. This is taught to you in part by the human aging process. And so I find this so fabulously perfect. As children, we come in and we enter the physical state in a state of dependency. And many of us do not leave until we have returned to that same state of dependency. Throughout the journey, you are given opportunities to expand your belief systems, but you don't have to accept them. And you can believe that the only purpose of the journey is to get old and die. And that would be the life that you've lived in this particular time. And there will be nothing wrong with that. You will have learned from that. But it is a limiting way to live your life. You believe that there is something greater than you are, which you're not a part, that will dictate or determine your future. Each one of you yearns for a life of abundance while entertaining the opposite belief. Now, isn't that so like us? Part of us says, well, you get old and then you die. And yet the other part of us is saying, oh, but there must be more to life. However, we clinging on so tightly to a belief in lack. We're believing that there's a limited supply of resources, of money, of jobs, of satisfying relationships. And then we enter into a competition to take for ourselves and for our loved ones our share of what we believe should be our share of the resources, those limited resources that are available. And all the while, looking over our shoulders to see how far back the competition is. Did we get away with it? You believe it's the only way to get ahead, to be secure, or to find the happiness you seek. And it's this belief that becomes your magic pill. Because you believe in scarcity, you must encounter scarcity, competition, and fear. Your belief system will not allow it to be any other way. So I want you to think about it. Are you living your life as though there's not enough? Do you feel that you have to compete for everything that you receive? And do you think that it's only when you can best other people that you're going to find or receive the magic pill that will allow your life to feel better? Well, we'd like you to look at things differently. We want you to begin letting go of the idea of lack, of not enough, and of fear-based thinking. We want you to allow the chaos of destruction to be allowed to take over your life. You'll have to live with mess, with questions, and with uncertainty. Then you'll have to push for truth as you gently dislodge all of those stuck beliefs that are cluttering up your heart space. As you willingly allow those beliefs that are causing harm and raising red flags to go, you'll be making room for new beliefs and divinely inspired truth to enter. And this is when the magic begins. Once you stop placing your faith in someone outside yourself, and you start looking within at all you already are, you begin stepping into the magical place of love, joy, and peace. I just want you to hear those words. Once you stop placing your faith in someone outside yourself, and you start looking within at all you already are, they are not saying you're not enough. They're not saying someday you'll be good enough. All you already are. You already are more than enough. You already have more than enough. You're already perfect. Allow that to be your truth. As you go within and let go of everything that counteracts that belief, that disagrees with that belief. Because while your heart is filled with doubt, uncertainty, and fear, you cannot see yourself or believe yourself to be someone who is capable and powerful. But as you begin letting go of all of the stories about the past, as you begin examining your belief systems for what resonates and what feels off, you'll feel yourself begin to rise, no longer shackled to the earth by chains of doubt. You receive the magic feather, the magic pill you were searching for in the beginning. In truth, there's no outside force, no magic anything that can change your reality. There is no spell, potion, or pill that can alter the reality you believe to be true. The only way you can transport yourself from where you are to where you want to be is by changing your beliefs about where you are and where you're going. You can never outrun your beliefs. Your beliefs must change before you'll give yourself permission to change the reality you're experiencing. So it is so important that we understand right now that it's you, always and only you, that are in charge of your reality and what you are experiencing. It's you, it's always you, and what you believe to be true that determines what you experience in your life. No outside force is as powerful as the belief system you hold within your heart. No one can do anything to you without your consent. You must give them permission through your beliefs before they can alter your reality. Nobody is more powerful than you are. People can act scary. They can say and do things that make you believe you're in danger from their presence, or that they're stronger or more powerful than you are. But their influence ends the moment you release the beliefs that give them that power and replace it with the divine truth that reinforces that you and you alone are powerful in your own life. Let go of what somebody else is doing, saying, or thinking, and get present with who you are, what you're thinking, what you're saying, and what you're doing. As the chaos of crumbling belief systems rages throughout the world, we ask that you react not with fear, but with enthusiasm. Let go of what they're doing. The old is passing away. It's time to create the heaven on earth that was promised. Let go of the belief that you are small and insignificant, while others are big and powerful. And instead, welcome the knowledge that you are everything you need to be. You are magical. Release the beliefs that are holding you prisoner and open your heart to receive the divine truth. You are divine. The Creator resides in you as you reside in the Creator. You are more than enough. If you want magic in your life, let go of the lies and embrace all that feels good to your heart. The magic lies in believing, in knowing you are more than enough. So let's take a look at what they've shared with us today. This is so powerful, and for those of you who are just beginning your journey, don't give up. It does feel chaotic in the beginning and even overwhelming, but it becomes easier as you let go of your resistance that you may have to the truth. Every week we focus on your relationship with some aspect of your life. And I just want to remind us that relationships, or the way we feel about someone or something, determines what we're going to experience when we're interacting with that thing. So your relationship that you have with something is your belief about it, and that belief makes it so. That's why it is so important for you to periodically examine your beliefs to see if they still feel truthful. Let's pretend just for a moment that you grew up in a very prejudiced family and they were prejudiced against all people who are purple. And yet you went to school and you met someone, and let's say when you met them, they were wearing a special mask so that you wouldn't know that they were purple. And you quickly discovered that they were the kindest, most loving person, and they were became your best friend. And then came the day that for whatever reason they decided to take off their mask and show you that they were really purple. And suddenly, you're up against your beliefs. You've been told purple people are bad, and you should not be friends with purple people. But your heart is telling you this is your best friend. This is somebody that you have a wonderful relationship with. So what do? You have to go in and re-examine those beliefs. What is it, or why is it that this belief that purple people are bad got started? Perhaps someone in your family got hurt by a purple person. Okay, well then that particular purple person may not be trustworthy. And perhaps you shouldn't have a relationship with them. But to apply it broad brush to all purple people, you've just proven to yourself how foolish that is. So go back in periodically and examine your beliefs. Because as we move through our life, we'll gain different perspectives from challenges, growth experiences, and exposure to other people's belief systems. And we need to make sure that we're just not absorbing without questioning, looking, and deciding, does this feel good to me? And remember also, there's only so much space for processing. And that's why all of us, there are no exceptions, all of us go through a chaotic period of cleansing. Because we have, unless your beliefs are, okay, there is an exception. If you came in with a direct connection to the divine and you somehow managed to keep it open and your beliefs have stayed true to that divine connection throughout your life, then you have no house cleaning to do. But for the rest of us, there is a chaotic period of cleansing that's necessary before the rebuilding or the restructuring can take place. So I want you to adopt a new way of thinking about it. So instead of thinking of it as demolition, destroy the whole thing, throw that baby out with the bathwater, tear down every part of the previous structure, begin looking at it as remodeling. Because some of your core beliefs may be sound, but perhaps they got twisted in the application. Perhaps you didn't understand what was being shared, or whomever shared it with you didn't understand, and yet the core belief is accurate. The interpretation may be off. So just allow yourself to do a little remodeling. Let's take a look at one of those core beliefs that could really be crazy. So you can say to yourself, and this would be a truthful core belief, the body is capable of healing itself. We all know that's true. We all have an immune system, and it is designed so that the first germ that comes against us can't take the entire body down. So, absolute, unarguable truth. For the most part, the body is capable of healing itself. However, you can twist that belief and say, there will never be an occasion when I'll need a medical doctor. Well, perhaps you don't go to the doctor every day. Most people don't. Perhaps you only go to the doctor for a rare occasion. But to state it so emphatically that you will never need a medical doctor really makes you sound a little silly. If I were to fall down, let's say, and break my leg, I may have been saying, I'll never go to a medical doctor. Well, the body would probably be capable of healing that leg. But the body may not be capable of healing it without a deformity. Because I would probably still try to walk on that leg or put weight on it or do something. And without it being immobilized properly and put back into place by somebody who understands the way that the bones need to be knit back together and held in place in order for that process to occur, maybe my leg would heal at a very awkward angle that would give me a permanent limp. So my body would heal itself. It may just not heal itself in a way that would feel good to me. In this particular case, it would have been wiser for me to go and visit the medical doctor or somebody that could help me get the leg back in the proper position. Sometimes we carry what's true to such an exaggerated degree, and we stretch that truth so far beyond its original meaning to accommodate our thoughts that it's no longer something that is accurate anymore. We can also reject truth in that same way. Either way, we are doing ourselves a disservice. So what I want you to be is a daily explorer. Look for new information. Give yourself a mental challenge. I want you to dare yourself to grow. Or if you don't like the word dare, just challenge yourself to grow. Even if you get a hold of a false belief and you run with that false belief and nobody and nothing is able to get through to you, you're still going to be okay. Your life might take a detour. You might even have some interesting experiences because of that belief. But you, the part that is you, which is your soul, will always remain undamaged, even if your physical life, as you know it, ends. The soul continues on and returns undamaged. Nothing outside yourself is greater than all that you are within. People can say and do and act in ways that could feel scary. But truly, when we get a hold of who we are inside, when we really understand the power that has been granted to each and every one of us, not for destruction, but to act in a loving way toward ourselves and all others, then we understand the power that we have, the power of love. Don't confuse the power of love with any kind of romantic love. This is unconditional love. This is just love and acceptance at its very height, not la 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 love that is based on a romantic perception or a dependency. So we have to remember that each one of us, unless you have come into this life as an enlightened master, each one of us begins the journey as Dumbo. Do you remember the Disney movie, Dumbo the Elephant? Dumbo had big ears and they used to make fun of him. And if I remember it correctly, Dumbo wanted to fly. And the only one that believed in Dumbo or that loved Dumbo without making fun of him or thinking how silly he was his mother. And something happened to his mother. The circus came and grabbed her or something, and Dumbo was separated from his mother and so terribly scared. And the only way he was going to get back to her was to be able to fly. But Dumbo did not believe in himself or his ability. His mother did, but she wasn't there. And Dumbo's love for his mother overcame the fear that he wasn't good enough. And Dumbo began this search for a magic feather. And he looked and looked and looked, and that love kept driving him and driving him and driving him. He had to get to his mother. He had to be courageous. He couldn't be afraid. So he went on this search for a magic feather. But he couldn't ever find that magic feather that would make everything all right again, that would enable him to fly so that he could go and save his mother. But finally, the love that he felt for his mother, combined with the courage that he was gaining and the wisdom that he was gaining by learning that he had to go within and trust himself, became so great that instead of a magic feather, Dumbo found that he was capable. And he was able to fly and save his mother. He never found the magic feather. He found himself. He found who he was, who he had always been, but had been denying. There is no magic feather. There is nothing outside of you that will make you something better than you already are. You don't need it. You already have everything you could possibly desire. Even though we may continue to look for that special something, we need to just let go. Just stop looking to the outside world or to other people to deliver us from whatever it is we fear, because we always have within us everything we need. Everyone comes complete with their particular journey. No one is given a desire that they do not have the ability to achieve. This doesn't mean that you don't have to work for whatever it is, or become disciplined, or become an active participant in your life. But you are given the tools that you need. If you desire to be a great tennis player, you will not come with asthma. It would be a cruel joke. Unless there would be some way for you to overcome the asthma and become even more of an inspiration because you overcame this hurdle. But if you chose to have the experience of asthma that could not be treated, you would then not have the life purpose of being a tennis pro. The two just don't go together. You would be given a different life purpose, a different way of inspiring people. As soon as you stop placing your faith in someone or something outside of yourself, you make magic happen. The magic that's always lived within you is able to come forth. Now, there is one exception. When I am saying you cannot place your faith or your trust in someone outside of yourself, a good teacher, a yogi, a master, someone who is leading you in the discovery of this thing that you desire, is always a wonderful tool, a good coach. However, you must develop whatever it is within you. The only thing the teacher, the coach, the master is capable of doing is helping you see what was already within you and helping you develop that. So, if you have the desire to paint and you hire somebody who is a master painting teacher, and they are able to pull out from within you your artistic ability because you are fully participating, then that's wonderful. But you cannot go to somebody and say, make me a master painter. You do it for me. But I'm colorblind, or I have no affinity for painting. I don't even like it. It doesn't work that way. A good teacher, a good coach, a good leader can only help you help yourself. Otherwise, we're back to the magic pill, magic feather belief, and that is just a lie. So, doubt, uncertainty, and fear are going to block you from recognizing your own greatness. If you feel that you're in any one of those categories, yes, get someone to help you. A good counselor, teacher, leader, coach will help you get past those blocks and help you find your greatness. Because doubt, fear, uncertainty, all that negativity is going to prevent you from achieving your goal. And that's where someone can help you overcome that. Help you if you are willing to participate. But if you come to the table and say, do it for me, the teacher will gain and the student will not. The student has to participate too. There's no outside force that can come against you without your permission. Please remember this. There is no, and don't be offended, this is education. If you have been bullied in the past, I am sorry that you were bullied in the past. That's because you believed you could be. But I want you to know you don't have to be. Stop giving permission for you to be bullied. Instead, understand your own greatness. Rise up and claim it. Step out of being the victim. Do not give permission to anyone to hurt you or to harm you. Nothing is more powerful than you are in determining your life experiences. It is only when you believe that you can be bullied because someone else is stronger that it can happen. If you don't believe that, it's not possible. None of you are small and insignificant. No matter what events have conspired to be in your life, you're not small. You agreed to the experience, and you are more than enough. There are people in this world that view themselves as big and powerful, and they may have influenced your life. But because they believe they're influential, they're big, and they're powerful, and you agree that they're big and powerful and you're small and weak, they have been able to influence you. If just one of you takes away that agreement, if you say, you know what, I'm not small and weak, I'm powerful in my own right, I can stand up strong. If they can still believe they're big and powerful and should be influencing you, but they will have no effect without your agreement. We are the ones that are giving power to those that we say, they so-and-so took my power away. No one has that ability unless you give it to them. So it's time to take your power back. Begin seeing yourself as powerful. Begin seeing yourself as intelligent, beautiful, funny, charming, whatever attribute you desire. Begin seeing yourself as that. Give yourself permission to have it and believe it can be yours. Because when you believe it can happen, you activate the magic in your life. You've just taken the magic pill. You've just waved the magic feather when you believe. So, go ahead. Sprinkle some magic fairy dust on your beliefs and keep holding on to those beliefs. Keep them close to your heart until your dreams are made manifest. You can't pick them up one day and throw them in the wind the next day and wonder why they didn't happen for you. You got to keep those beliefs and dreams close to your heart. Keep fueling them. Keep practicing. Staying away from negativity, being focused on what's positive, being in the present and not back in the past or leaping ahead into the future. Be here in this now, in this moment. Recognize your power. Stop pretending you can assign your life to someone else in order to have it work out. Don't give your power away. I would never trust another person to choose for me what would feel good in my life. I've done that, and it wasn't a very good choice. So moving forward, someone may say to me, you really need to do X, Y, and Z. Well, I'll stop and think, oh, let me think about that. Let me run it through my truth meter. Let me examine it in my heart space and see how it feels to me. If it feels great, what a lovely suggestion. Thank you so much. I feel so empowered. If it feels awful, I think I'll pass. But thanks for thinking of me, or however you want to word that. Oh, but you have to. Actually, I don't. I understand that this is something that you really believe in, and that's great, but it's just not something that I feel comfortable with at this time. They can push, but you don't have to open the door. And then just walk away. Gee, thanks for your time. I'll see you later. Great to talk with you. Whatever. Don't be available. You don't have to be available. It is your life we're talking about. Your joy and your happiness. You deserve it. Now, I've got a couple of stories for you about things that have happened in my life when I tried to find magic feathers or magic pills. But before I share those stories with you, star 2, if you have a question or you want to share something with the group, star 2. As always, no one is going to be forced to participate. This is an opportunity for you to get as much value as possible, to ask any question that you may have, or just to participate by listening, by being a loving presence here on the call. Okay, so I don't see any hands raised. Don't worry, you can change your mind and raise your hand at any time. So we're going to go way, way, way back now. I'm in my 20s, and someone introduces me to Silva Mind Control, created by Jose Silva. This was my first introduction that the mind could actually be trained, that the mind could actually be told what to do. Up until that point, I was in love with all things in the world of parapsychology. That was like my favorite field, was the field of parapsychology. But it never occurred to me that the mind could actually be trained. I have told you the story about Uri Geller, who was a Russian gentleman on TV who could bend spoons with his mind. And of course, everyone tried to expose him as a fake, and no one knew how he did it. And no one at that time was talking about the possibility that, hey, our minds can be trained. And then Jose Silva had been doing quietly research in the background and came out with his program, Mind Control. And I just ate it up. I went to all of the classes that I could that were local in my area, and I don't know how many levels of his mind control program I took, but as many as I could get my hands on. And we used to go to a gentleman's home, and we sort of had practice periods there, meditation sort of practice periods. And I just loved it. And I used to think to myself, because there were instructors that would travel around the country and teach these classes, I used to think to myself, oh, wouldn't that be the perfect life to be a Silva mind control instructor? But I had still not crossed the bridge from there's something outside of me that is helping me do this to what I need is inside. Even though I was taking these mind control classes and loving them, and I was learning all these great techniques of how I could control my mind, I still believed that all of this was coming from an outside source. I was still looking for my magic pill and my magic feather, and I didn't look to myself to be any kind of authority or to have achieved any kind of real skill with this. Even though every time I went to the classes or I went to the study groups, we would talk about our experiences, and we did a thing with healing in a laboratory, in an inner laboratory, and people used to say things to me like, your accuracy is just amazing, or some of these little experiments that we would do, they would just say things like, wow, it's really amazing that you're able to do this. Still, I couldn't hear it and couldn't process it. Never followed up on wanting to be the Silva Mind Control teacher, as I could not own the ability. It, to me, was still something outside of me. In this particular case, it was as though it was the course. I wasn't able to do it. It was this course, and if I did everything they told me, down to the most minute detail, I would be able to do that. That was my magic feather. But if I tried to make it my own and develop it, no, I was in danger of failing, because now there was no magic feather for that part. So I kept myself in this tiny, teeny little box of constriction. And sure enough, life moved on, and I let go of those teachings. And my life just kind of blew up into chaos. Now, I didn't understand that this was probably the best thing that could happen for me. At the time, it felt really not fun. But it was the beginning of my search. The box that I had created for myself with Silva Mind Control was so tight and so confining, but yet I loved the idea so much that I had to break out of the box. I had to figure out a way to develop a philosophy, a truth that matched the divine truth, that was bigger than I was. And that meant breaking down the box, the walls of the box, the walls, the belief systems in my life. And for me, it meant incredible chaos, lots of detours, life turned upside down, completely forgetting about everything that I loved and grasping onto anything that seemed secure, because this new world of parapsychology and meditation, and no, it was just too nebulous. It was too much what I wanted. And I had never had what I wanted before. It was too good to be true. So I had to throw it all away. I had to completely get things all screwed up. And along that journey of getting things screwed up, I ran into a woman. I was now still in my gotta be a magic feather, magic pill phase. And let me tell you, for me, that phase lasted a really, really long time. Right through, I would say easily the first couple of years on my spiritual path. Read every book, took every course. There was going to be one course, one book that held the secret, the key that I was missing. I still wasn't allowing the truth to sink in that, hey, you've got to apply this. It cannot be applied from the outside in. It must come from within out. I was still searching for the magic, not realizing that I already had it inside me. So, fast forward a couple of years, the chaotic, tumultuous period had slowed down a little bit. I'd started to kind of get my feet back under me, but hadn't gone back to the parapsychology world or forward into the meditation world or even sideways into the religion world. I was just kind of existing, but I was existing better than I was before until I ran into a fortune teller, a psychic fortune teller. And this was one of those European, not sure where she was from, I don't remember anymore, kind-hearted person who had the belief that she could cast spells and light candles on behalf of an outcome. And her belief in this was so strong and so powerful, and my beliefs about everything were so shaky at this point, that I agreed that yes, I was not enough. I really needed her to get my life back on track or help me get it back on track by saying these spells over a period of time in her church. I don't know where her church was or what it was called, by the way. I don't think I ever knew. Certainly don't remember. And of course, in order to do that, I needed to pay her. So I paid and paid and paid and paid someone else to do it for me. Well, I guess you guessed, nothing changed except I had increasingly less money in my bank account and probably more confusion than I had started out with. I cannot blame this woman. Those were her beliefs. She believed that she was doing something wonderful for me by saying these spells and prayers and lighting these candles and doing this special ritual. She truly believed that that was going to help me find whatever I was looking for in life. So I paid her and paid her and paid her in order to do this for me. And I guess what I got or received from that was the wonderful lesson, not until much later, but certainly the wonderful lesson that believing that I can abdicate my responsibility for my own life and give it to someone else and ask them to say a prayer on my behalf, and that I would have to do nothing, take no responsibility or no affirmative action, but they could do it for me. I remember paying her and thinking that's all I have to do. I came up with the money. She can do the rest. It was a wonderful lesson. Yes, you may have to pay your teacher, your coach, your counselor, whomever is sharing their life knowledge and energy with you. so that you may advance. But just because you've handed over a few dollars to acquire their knowledge or their assistance does not mean that you can sit on the side of the road and say, do it for me. You've got to stay on the journey and keep walking. It's wonderful to have teachers. I have many counselors, coaches, helpers, mentors, and I pay everyone that helps me willingly because they are helping me acquire something that I would either have to spend many more hours myself researching. I am either paying for their knowledge and their expertise, or I am paying because they can see something that I cannot, because often we are blind to our other circumstances. So it wasn't that I paid this woman to say spells and to wave her magic feather. It was that I chose then not to participate. She was doing work for me. She earned her money. However, she believed she had a magic feather and didn't ask me for more than money. And I believed she had a magic feather, so I thought all I had to do was throw out some money. But that was me saying, I don't really want to participate. I can't be held responsible. So I'll take this innate energy, money, and I'll pretend that it can do the work for me. You must do the work for yourself. You must do the growth. Yes, you may have to part with some money if you're asking someone to share their truth with you. I guarantee you, they either had to pay someone to help them, to teach them, or they gave up many, many, many hours studying and learning. And usually they did both. So your teacher, your coach, or your mentor will accelerate your process, but your progress, but they cannot walk the road for you. So please, know if someone comes to you and says, oh, if you pay me, I'll read your fortune and tell you you'll meet the man of your dreams tomorrow. Perhaps you will, perhaps you won't. It doesn't eliminate you from also doing the work to put yourself in the right head and heart space. Take the help. Help is wonderful. It helps us advance more quickly. But don't abdicate your responsibility. So, those are two of the ways that I try to use a magic feather or a magic pill instead of going within. I'm glad I had those experiences, but I don't want to have them again, and I want to help you not have them because it just slowed down my journey. It took me a lot longer to get to the place of love, joy, and peace. And even though I'm grateful for every moment of that journey, I don't want to do it again. All right, that's all the time we have for now. And I just want to say before we go, if anyone is interested in working with me personally or in a group setting, I am working on getting that set up. I need some technical help with that, so it's taking me a little longer than I expected. Or also to join our monthly subscription service where we'll have a call, a question and answer call that's very informal, and we'll actually be doing some group counseling work there and provide a discount on products. This is all the kind of thing that's coming up. However, if you want one-on-one counseling, which is quite specific and really wonderful, but very different from anything we can do in a group. You need to send me an inquiry message, Marcia, Marcia, at marciamartinthehearthealer.com, or go to my website, marciamartinthehearthealer.com, and click on Contact, and that will give you the form. I will reply to you as quickly as possible and let you know more about the session and what you can expect. And you will have to reply in order to get scheduled. Again, I am asking you to participate. I know it feels like, why? Why can't I just do it the easy way? This is the easy way. You are beginning already the process of participating and taking responsibility and recognizing your power. As you are more than enough, and you are just that powerful. So, until next Wednesday, I'm sending you all my love.